see you. Happy Friday.
Well, thank you. It's a beautiful day here.
And where are you calling in from, Alma?
Maryland.
Maryland. Okay, good to hear you
Where are
folks have
you?
gotten. I am in San Jose, California.
Oh, I used to live there for 20 years.
You did? Oh, yes. I've been here for over 30 years now. Let's see.
Oh, so we were there probably at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I really enjoy it here. So, it's so good to meet
Yeah.
folks from the neighborhood.
Yeah, I still miss it.
Yep.
Hello,
Hi, everyone. Hi, Jonathan. How are you doing?
I'm testing my microphone. Okay, it seems to be working.
It works perfectly. Hi, Wilma. How are you
Hello.
today?
How are you? Fine, and you?
Good. I'm great.
Hi.
Hello, hello. There's Sandy. Hi, Sandy.
Hi. How are you?
I'm doing great. I might have a survey. Do I? No, I don't have a survey. Okay. I thought I had set one up, but no, I did not. So I'm just curious before we get started, other people will be joining us. Has anyone yet hosted a Zoom meeting? You can just like raise your hand or, okay. So a couple of folks.
Clumsily.
Yeah, and clumsily. And that's also what I get too.
Yeah,
Some
too.
folks
Me
have,
too.
they're like, I really didn't know what I was doing. So today we're going to make sure that you know what you're doing.
I guess the one question I had before we start is when I set the Zoom meeting up, it did not allow me to create a link. It just gave me the passcode.
Okay. Well, we'll take a look at that too.
Okay.
We'll see. Yeah.
That's why I keep coming on for the same lesson.
Okay. No, that's okay. I love it. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Let me share my screen. And let's do this. And if anybody has any questions today, let me just move it down here. Let me just resize my share. There we go. Move this around. Let's see. Come on. Picky, picky, picky. There we go. And if anyone has any questions today, feel free to just unmute yourself. I have the chat open. You can enter a question into the chat. And, you know, it's very interactive today. Just a note, you know, unlike the beginner Zoom class that you may have taken, with this class, it's more about me demonstrating. There's only one host in a Zoom meeting, so unfortunately we can't all be hosts. So you folks have joined in as a participant, and I'm just going to be demonstrating how you'll be scheduling and hosting a meeting, and then just please ask questions as we go along. So with that, welcome everyone. My name is Vicki. I'm your Get Set Up Guide. I'm calling in here from San Jose, California, and it is sunny today. A little bit about me. I worked in high tech for 30 years. I've done everything from technical support, lots of technical training and instructional design. I've been able to teach people from all over the world. I've taught folks who have been very technical, but also people who are just dipping their toes into this world of technology. And for me, being able to be a guide with Get Set Up enables me to do what I love most, and that's educate folks about technology. So I'm doing what I love. Just a few housekeeping details today, and then we're going to dive right in. We're a learning community, so we love it when you turn your cameras on. I understand some folks are just not comfortable doing that. I don't require it, but it's great if we can see each other. I leave this up to you. Today's class is being recorded, and if you would like a copy of the recording, you can email us at help@getsetup.io. We are live streaming today, so hello folks who are joining us via live stream. We love it if you can fully participate, even though you can see and hear everything today that we're doing in class. I always encourage folks to sign up, register for a class, and that way you can fully participate. And lastly, Get Set Up is a training organization. We are not paid to promote products or services. We are all about the training, getting folks connected so that you can take full advantage of all the classes, social hours, interest groups that we have. We now offer classes 7 days a week. You can take classes in the United States, classes that are held in India, the UK, Australia, New Zealand, and Canada. So we're all over, I think pretty much 24/7. You can catch us. What we're going to do today is going to start off by understanding how we can host what's called an instant meeting. And then we're going to move to how do you schedule a meeting in Zoom. And we're also going to show you how you can work with a calendar feature to schedule meetings. I know some people are interested in that, as well as how do you invite others to your Zoom session. So we have a lot to cover today, but again, any questions, feel free to just stop me and ask away. And if you're wondering why I keep moving my head back and forth, I have 2 monitors and I see some things on one monitor and I have other things on another monitor. So that's why I keep moving back and forth. And some of you have mentioned that you have hosted a Zoom meeting before. Some folks are wanting to know, what is this all about? And for those of you who have hosted a Zoom meeting, you're like, yeah, I wasn't, really sure what I was doing. And let me go ahead. I'm just going to mute everybody. There's some background noise, not a problem. And for those of you who have hosted a Zoom meeting, but you really weren't sure what you were doing, you'll feel more comfortable after today's class. First things first, if you have only been joining Zoom meetings by clicking on a link someone has sent you, you have not had to have a Zoom account. You don't need a Zoom account to participate or join in a Zoom meeting. However, once you start hosting Zoom meetings, you will need to have a Zoom account. And you can sign up for a free account. We're going to take a look at how you do that, or a paid account. You do get different things with each type of account. We're going to go to zoom.us, and I have another web browser open here. Let me show you what that looks like. And it doesn't matter which web browser you're using, but I've gone to zoom.us. Let me just go to the main screen here. I happen to have an account already, but I'm going to click on plans and pricing because I want to show you the different Zoom accounts that are available. And so this is the free, it's called the basic account. It doesn't cost you anything. I know the button says buy now. You're not buying anything. I just really wish they would change this to sign up or register. With a free account, you can host up to 100 participants in a meeting. Now, there is this 40-minute time limit for meetings with a free account. If you are only on a meeting with one other person, then it's unlimited time. However, once a second participant joins your meeting, and now there's 3 of you on the call, that's when that 40-minute limit kicks in. And so this is what the free account will get you. And if you sign up for a free account or a basic account, you can always upgrade to one of these paid or licensed accounts. And so you do get different things with a paid account versus a licensed account. But I would always recommend start with a free account, see how you're using Zoom. And then if you're like, I really have to host meetings that are longer than 40 minutes, then you'll need to look into one of these paid accounts. All right. So that's for starters. What else do we want to cover? Let's go ahead. I'm just going to go back and we'll come to this slide in just a moment. What I wanted to do was, let's hop back over here. Let's talk a little bit about what it's like to schedule a meeting. So Zoom has what they call instant meetings, and that means you just let's just start up a meeting. Maybe you're talking to a friend on the phone and you're like, hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and just fire up a Zoom meeting. We haven't seen each other in a while. Or maybe you're working with a colleague over the phone. You're trying to explain something, how to do something on the computer. And you're like, oh, you know what? Let's just hop on a Zoom meeting. I'll share my screen and let me show you on my computer how to do this. So those are just those instant meetings, just something that, you fire up a meeting, it's not scheduled. And I'm going to show you how you can do that. Now, today, I am using what's called the web or the browser version of the Zoom product, the Zoom application. Some of you may be on a mobile device, on your phone, on your tablet, and you would have downloaded the app, the Zoom app, which is a little bit different. I'm just using the web version today because it's easier for me to show you all the information that I need to show you on one screen. You may find that it's easier to work with the web version, the browser version, or you may decide just to do everything that we're doing today on your app. And I've also downloaded the Zoom app on my PC as well. You can certainly do that. So I just want to mention that. I'm going to click on my account here, and everything that I'm showing you today, you can do on the app as well. And so I'm clicking on meetings over here in the left-hand corner. So I've signed on to my Zoom account. Now I'm working off of a licensed or a paid account today, in case you're wondering. So there may be some things that you'll see that I have access to that you don't. And so these are all the meetings that I have scheduled. But in order to start one of these instant meetings, and it's just maybe there are one or two people that you're going to be connecting with, you have two options. You can start a Zoom meeting using what's called your personal meeting ID, or you can start a Zoom meeting using a randomly generated ID. And let's talk about when you would use one versus the other. So I'm going to click on the tab called Personal Room here. And what this is doing is it's enabling me to start a Zoom meeting using a personal meeting ID. Now, when you sign up for a Zoom account, whether it's a free account or a paid account, doesn't matter. That account was always assigned what's called a personal meeting ID. And this is my personal meeting ID right here. And so this personal meeting ID is associated with your Zoom account. It's always the same ID. It never changes until you cancel your account. And when you start a Zoom meeting in your personal room, which means that you're using your personal meeting ID, when you invite others to join you, this is the link, first of all, this is the link that I would be sending to folks. What's nice about using this personal meeting ID is it never changes. And so if you are sending this URL, this link to others, they can use this link always, forever. And so you can just say at any time, hey, you know what, let's just start up a Zoom meeting. Use that link that I sent you, the other month, because it never changes. And as a result of that, you want to be very specific about who you share this link with, because if someone starts abusing this link, remember, it never changes. You may need to work with Zoom support to either get a new ID or find a workaround. And so again, I can't stress this enough. You really should only be inviting people using this personal meeting ID if you know them well and you trust them. And so this is your personal room. This is what the meeting link looks like. To invite someone to your personal meeting room, what you can do is simply click on down here, copy the invitation. And again, this is using the browser version, and I'll show you something similar when you're using the app. This is all of the information that gets copied to this invitation that you're sending them. You may see some phone number and pieces of information here. That's because I'm on a paid account. If you are starting up a Zoom account, using a free account, you won't have these phone numbers. And at this point, what I would do is just click on the copy meeting invitation button. What it's doing is it's copying it to something called the clipboard. And this is an area, it's like a temporary storage in your computer's memory, your device's memory. And then once I've copied this information to the clipboard, I'm just going to cancel out of here. I would then open up my email, compose a new message, address it to one or more participants, and then simply paste the contents of what was in my clipboard into the body of the email. And let me know if you have any questions about that. Again, I just clicked on the copy the invitation. This is one way of doing it. And this would be you're inviting people before you start your meeting. In order to start your meeting, once you've invited people, you simply click on the start button here. And let me ask folks, once you've started your Zoom meeting, does anyone remember how you can invite others to join in once you've started the meeting? Anyone remember how to do this? It's from the participant screen. So another way of inviting people, if this is a little too convoluted for you, you can start your Zoom meeting, go to your participant screen and click on the invite from there. And depending upon the device that you're on, whether you're on like an iPad or a PC, a laptop, you'll see different screens, but you can also email the invitation that way as well. And so I just wanted to show you that this is, from the web version, this is how you would start a Zoom meeting, one of these instant meetings in your personal room, and then you can invite others to join you in your personal room, and it's using that personal meeting ID. And let me know if you have any questions about this.
One question, does it always have to use the email, or can it be done through texting or some other means, like a telephone number?
You can do texting, of course, yes. If you look on, if you're on, for example, like an iPad or a template or a smartphone, when you go into participants and you tap on invite, you will see the option to send an email or send a message. And you can certainly send the invite via text, yes.
Okay.
Definitely. So that is starting one of these, instant messages. Kathy, did you have a question?
Yeah, where's the participant?
It's on your Zoom control bar. What device are you on?
I'm on a laptop.
A laptop. If you go down to the bottom of your screen, and that's where your Zoom control bar lives, you will see the participants icon. And that's where you'll tap or click on the participants icon on your Zoom control bar. And that's on the bottom of your screen if you're on a laptop.
Is there any difference between the host and the participant in terms of, the privilege of inviting new people, or are they exactly the same?
No, they're exactly the same. Now, the host may have set up the meeting so that, and they may have turned off the ability for participants to use that invite button. But by default, they're both the same. Participants can invite others to a meeting as well. All right, the other type of a meeting that we can start up is a meeting that uses what we call a randomly generated ID. And the difference is, once you've started one of these meetings with a randomly generated ID, that ID is only good for the duration of the meeting. As soon as you leave the meeting or stop the meeting, that randomly generated ID expires and cannot be used again. And so if you're going to be setting up meetings, scheduling, or just starting one of these instant meetings with someone or people who maybe you don't know that well, or you don't have that level of trust, I would use one of these randomly generated IDs. And to do this, again, I'm on the browser version. I'm just going to come up here to the right-hand corner, And where it says host a meeting, I would click on that and I would just say, I want to start a meeting with my video on or off, or you could simply be in what we call screen share mode. And I would just click that, and that's how I would start up a meeting using a randomly generated ID. And I'm not going to do it today because I've already started a meeting, and you can't start more than one meeting as with my host ID. And so again, this is where you'll go to start one of those meetings, instant meeting, with a randomly generated ID. And that ID is only good for the duration of your meeting, and then it expires. And so when you do that, when you start a meeting, you can also go to the participant screen and click on the invite button and start inviting folks to your meeting. What I wanted to show you next is I've been talking about the browser version, how to do this. If you've loaded the app onto your device, whether it's a PC, a tablet, a smartphone, this is what the app version looks like. Everything I'm showing you today, you can do using an app. And so if we take a look at the next slide, when you start a Zoom session, a Zoom meeting, this is what it looks like on the app on a PC. You'll tap on this new meeting button. And then if you want to start your meeting in your personal room, make sure that you select this checkbox. If it is deselected, then you're going to start a Zoom meeting using a randomly generated ID. So that's the difference between checking and leaving this unchecked. If you're going to start a Zoom session on a smartphone or a tablet, you'll tap on that start meeting icon. This is the screen that you'll see next. And these green things over here with a circle in them, those are called sliders. And if you wanted to start a Zoom meeting in your personal room, you would simply move the slider to the right, so it turned green like this, and then tap on start meeting. That's how you'll start one of these instant Zoom meetings in your personal room. And of course, leaving the slider the way it is right now, you will start a meeting using one of these randomly generated IDs. Anybody have any questions on that? Sorry to keep going back and forth, but I wanted to make sure that people could see that if you're using the Zoom app, you can do the same things that we're doing, I'm doing on the web, the browser version. All right. And so that is using, that is starting one of these, instant Zoom meetings, whether it's in your personal room or using, starting a Zoom meeting using a randomly generated ID. Anybody have any questions about the difference between those two? No. All right. Oh yeah, Kathy. Mm-hmm.
I do. When you went on the app,
Mm-hmm.
and you go in the personal room, that's the randomly generated ID?
No, it's
Oh.
just the opposite. So your person, when you think personal room, that is your
That's the-
personal
yeah,
meeting
ID.
ID. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I know. It was a little tricky for me too in the beginning. So yeah, great question. Alma, did you have a question? You're mute. You're going to have to unmute yourself.
I'm sorry. If I'm just starting a regular meeting, say with a committee, so it would be my personal room?
Do you know these people well and trust them?
Yeah, yes.
You could start it up in your personal room because remember, you're going to be sharing this URL with them.
Right,
And
right.
that personal
Okay.
meeting ID never changes. So
Okay.
at any time they can get in.
Okay.
So your choice. Yeah, great question though. I am going to keep moving along, and the next thing we're going to do is learn how do you schedule a meeting. And I know some of you may have tried this before and said, I could never get this to work. So let's do it together. Again, I'm on the web version. And so I have my meetings. I clicked on meetings here. And what you can do is right over here on the upper portion of the screen where it says schedule a meeting, you can simply click on schedule a meeting. And this is if you want to schedule a meeting, sometime in the future, whether it's later on this afternoon, Monday next month. That's typically when you're using schedule a meeting. And I have a number of options to go through. So just, hang tight and I'll go through them as quickly as I can, but please ask questions if you don't understand anything. So the topic, what's the title of, your meeting? Maybe it's my Friday meeting. I'm very creative here. Description, do you have a detailed description that you want? Let's keep moving down here. The when. When are you scheduling this for? So I'm not sure if you can see it, but there's a little calendar icon over here that I'm circling around. If I click on that calendar icon, it allows me to click on the right arrow and left arrow and go through the months of the year. And you can simply select a day and then click on it and it will fill in the when. I'm just going to keep it for today. This time, when do you want this to start? Do you want it to start in an hour, a month? You select the date and the time. Is this going to be AM or PM? Duration. Now, remember, I'm working off of a licensed account, a paid account. So I don't have that 40-minute time limit. If you're working on a free account, you won't be able to set it longer than 40 minutes. But if I wanted to, I could say, well, the duration is going to be an hour and 30 minutes. And by the way, just because you set up an hour and 30 minutes using a paid account, it can be longer than that. This is a suggestion to let people know, well, we're going to be going for about an hour and 30 minutes. Time zone, make sure that you set this to your time zone, you the host. We're going to talk about how to set up a recurring meeting in just a few moments, so I'm going to just bypass that. This registration field, you will only see this if you're using a paid account. You won't see it if you're on the free account. Really, this is used more for webinars. And when you select it, it enables you to allow your users to register using their email. And you can also ask them some additional questions about themselves when they register. Meeting ID. Let's just say I'm setting up this for my book club. We're going to meet maybe once a month. Some people I know well, some people, maybe they're new members that are joining. Let me ask you folks, am I going to use the personal meeting ID or should I use a generate automatically using these random IDs? Which one do you think I should go for?
Generate.
Yeah, generate automatically. If I don't know everyone really well, I don't want to share my personal meeting ID. A template I'm going to talk about a little bit later. Let's talk about security. Some of you may have heard last year about all this Zoom bombing that was going on, maybe with people just like dropping into other people's meetings and creating havoc. Since then, Zoom has added a lot more security. Now, if you are on a free account, what will happen here is when you schedule a meeting by default, you will have passcodes selected. You will not be able to change it. Zoom has decided that for free accounts, they are automatically enforcing this passcode. You can't change it, you can't deselect it, but what you can do is you can put in a value for the passcode that makes it easier for people to remember and for you to remember. So when you select passcode, even if you have a paid account, users will be asked to provide a passcode when they join the meeting. If you have a paid account, you will be able to select either using a passcode or enable the waiting room or both, but you must select one. You cannot schedule a meeting with a paid account unless you have one of these selected. you can certainly add the enable the waiting room. And what that does, it's another level of security. And when, I don't know if anyone's been in a waiting room, but what happens is when you enable this waiting room, as members start joining, as participants start joining your meeting, they will be placed into this virtual waiting room, similar to when you go to a doctor's, you're put in the waiting room. And then it's up to you, the host, to click on the admit button when participants are joining. And so that's another level of security. If you don't know someone, maybe you don't admit them, but it's an option. And let me know if you have any questions about passcode, waiting room. This all has to do with security.
I have a question again.
Yeah, sure.
On that waiting room, and is that for paid or free? If free?
Either. You can
Either.
have, yeah. Mhm. Yeah. And just know that once your meeting starts, you have the option to disable your waiting room. That's what I do. Because if you're not paying attention, people may be joining the meeting late and they're in the waiting room. And until you admit them, they can't be part of the meeting. So just something to be aware of. And if it's easier for you, if you open your participant screen, what you'll see on the top of the participant screen is a list of those participants who are in the waiting room. And you have the option to click on the admit all button instead of one at a time. So that's the waiting room. It's optional. This require authentication to join. Typically, again, this is only with paid accounts. It's usually used by large companies where everyone has a Zoom account. And if you select this, then every participant will be asked to provide their Zoom user ID and password in order to join. So just another level of security. Zoom's been adding these. I'm going to keep scrolling down. Some of the other options that are available to you. This video, this refers to the state of your camera, of your video when you join a meeting. So if you're the host, you might want to, say every time I join a meeting, this meeting, my camera is automatically on or it's off. The same thing with participants. If you select this, then if you select on, then as participants join the meeting, their cameras are always turned on as soon as they join. And this is where you need to know about your participants. If you think you're going to be inviting folks who might be a little technically challenged, aren't really comfortable with Zoom, and you think having them turn their camera on could just be asking a little too much, maybe you just set this to on. Or if you think, participants are pretty technically savvy, you set it to off and let them decide if they want to turn their cameras on and off. This audio section here, you will only see if you have a paid account. What it enables you to do is you can allow participants to join the audio portion with either just their telephone or their computer audio or both. And if you select both, what this enables them to do is maybe someone's dialing into a meeting and they're driving. Maybe they just want to use their phone to connect. They don't want to use their computer audio. Maybe you have folks who are joining from a different country. Maybe their connectivity is not that great, and you would like them to be able to join in using the audio portion of their the phone, using their phone. So just, nice to know. And again, you'll only see this if you have a paid account. Just a few more meeting options to go over, and then we're going to save our scheduled meeting. Allow participants to join anytime. If you select this, what it enables participants to do is join the meeting before you, the host. Now, just know, if you're going to be enabling the waiting room, you will not be able to set this option, allow participants to join. They kind of negate each other. Mute participants upon entry. this is automatically selected by default. I think it's a good idea because as participants start joining your meeting, especially if you have a lot of participants, if they're joining with their microphones unmuted, it can be very noisy. I mean, if you have 2 or 3 people on your call, not a big deal. If you have 40 people in your Zoom meeting, it can get really noisy. And so you might want to consider leaving this on. Breakout room, this is only if you have a paid account. We actually have a class that shows you how to work with breakout, so I won't talk about that here. This is a good one, automatically record meeting in the cloud. Now, I don't know how many of you are going to be recording your Zoom meetings. You can record it at any time. If you know you're going to be recording a meeting, I think it's nice to leave this selected because as soon as you, the host, start up the meeting, the recording will automatically start as well. And there have been times when I knew I had to record a meeting, I started it, and I forgot to start the recording. So halfway through, I click on the recording button. Just know that it's there. The last thing, approve or block entry. Again, you're only going to see this if you have a paid account. This is fairly new. It's yet another level of security. And what it allows the host to do is either allow certain users from certain countries or regions in, or block users who are coming in from certain countries or regions from joining the meeting. The last thing I just want to mention is this alternative host. So again, this is something you'll see if you have a paid account. For free accounts, this doesn't even display, but when you schedule a meeting, Zoom automatically assumes that you are the host of the meeting. And let's say someone, you're working with an organization, and they've asked you, oh, can you please schedule some Zoom meetings for other people? You now know how to click on schedule a meeting, and you can do that. If you're not going to be the host of the meeting, you can enter in the host's email address. There can be more than one email address you can enter in here as well. So just something to be aware of. And once you've gone through this whole list, sorry about that, the last thing you're going to do to schedule this meeting is you're going to click on save. And once you've done that, if I click on the meetings again over here on the left-hand side, this is my Friday meeting is now scheduled. I can start it whenever I want. I don't, as a host, it doesn't have to be started at a certain time. Anybody have any questions about scheduling so far, what we did? Okay. What I'd like to do is show you a few other things you can do when you schedule a meeting. I'm going to click on the edit button here. My system is thinking. So I wanted to talk a little bit about how you can set up a recurring meeting. So I don't know if anyone's going to be having a repeating meeting, but very often people ask me, well, how do I set up a repeating meeting? And this is how you'll do it. When you're scheduling your meeting, you can come over here and click on recurring meeting, just like this. And then you're asked for some information. Well, the recurrence, is this going to be daily, weekly, monthly? No fixed time means there's no start time. It's almost like having office hours. You can just, start up your meeting at any time and people can join at any time. Let's just say I wanted to set this up monthly. Is it going to be once a month, twice a month, 3 times a month? I'm going to leave it to once a month. Occurs on. You have some choices here. You can say it's going to occur on a specific day of the month, maybe the 26th of the month, or you can say, I would like this to occur on the third Friday of every month. You have a choice. And the last thing you need to set is the end date. And you can do that by using the calendar here and saying, well, I'm going to have this end, on December 24th. Or you can say, this is going to occur once a month for 10 months, let's say. Come here. I'll have 10 occurrences. Anybody have any questions about that? So that's recurring. Some folks use it, some folks don't. It's an option.
Yeah, I have a meeting that's once a month, but the first Thursday, but I just went in and put in all the dates.
And now you don't have
guess I
to.
didn't really, yeah.
It's
Thank
much
you.
easier this way, yes.
It sure is.
Yep. And so you can do that when you schedule. The other thing, where's my template? I thought I was going to do. All right, I'm going to click on save here because I want to show you one more thing. So you see all the information. There's the passcode. Also, here's that copy invitation button, which is really nice. So when you save a scheduled meeting, you can click on the copy invitation button. Here's all the information that you need to send to someone. Again, we're going to click on copy meeting invitation. It copies all of this to what we call the clipboard. And at this point, you could just go into your email system, compose a new email, set up, add different participants' emails, addresses, and then paste the contents of the clipboard into the body of your email and send it out. That's how you can send people the invitation to this Zoom meeting. One other thing that I wanted to mention, there's something here called Save as Template. Let's just say I was, maybe I had a career coaching business and I wanted to schedule meetings with my clients, maybe like every week. I could schedule a meeting. I could set up all of my options and pick and choose whatever I wanted here. And then I could save it as a template. And once I've done that, it makes it really easy for me as I'm scheduling other meetings with other clients. When I click on schedule a meeting, I could simply say, use my template. Maybe I called my template external clients. I could say, use the external clients template. And then all of my selections are done for me. And maybe I just change the date and then I click on save and it's done. So that's just a nice to know. Anybody have any questions? Yeah, Joan, you have a question. You'll have to unmute. Oh, you're muted, Joan. You'll have to unmute yourself. Sorry. I know people always get stuck on that one. Can you unmute yourself? There you go.
Okay. Yeah, two questions which you went over, but I just want to verify. The password. If you can make up your own password, not necessarily the one they give. Okay,
Yes.
Number two is if you do not have a paid account, can you have an alternate host? You did mention something about adding another email address.
Yeah, you won't be able to see that.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
It's one of the limitations, but
Okay, thanks.
you're welcome. All right, let's go ahead and schedule a new meeting. And I want to show you how to use the calendar feature. So I'm going to schedule a meeting. I'll just call it, I don't know, my test meeting. I'm just going to leave all the defaults here. I'm not going to bother setting up recurring. I'm going to set it for generate automatically, use the waiting room. I'm not going to worry about anything else. I'm going to click on save. And you'll notice that I have these calendar options here. So what you can do is when you schedule a meeting, you can add this meeting to your calendar, but there are some additional perks as well. So let me show this to you. Right now, the 3 calendaring systems that are currently supported are the Yahoo Calendar, Outlook, and Google. And I work with Google, so I'm going to click on Google Calendar because I want to show you what you can do. I have a bunch of different Google accounts. I'm just going to, I clicked one of them, their test. I'm going to allow Zoom access to my calendar. And what's happening is, this is the next screen. So it's getting ready to set this meeting up, put it on my calendar. But as a host, there are some other great things that you can do all in one place. So you've scheduled a meeting, and remember, just scheduling a meeting doesn't also invite people. They're 2 separate steps. So scheduling a meeting just does that. It just schedules it. You can put it on your calendar, but the second step is also to invite. When you use the calendar option, you can specify, I want to put it on my calendar, but you can also add guests, invite participants. You can add notifications to send to yourself and participants, and you can even modify the text of the email. So let me show you how to do this. And again, it's all on one screen. Notification. When you set a notification, this one is in 30 minutes. What that will do is it will pop up a little message on your screen that says you have a meeting, a Zoom meeting in 30 minutes. Now you can certainly change this. You can just type right over it. You can also add a notification. For example, you can add an email. I'm just clicking on the drop down here. Maybe you have set up this invitation for a month from now. And maybe you want to send out multiple notifications. Maybe a week before the Zoom meeting, you're sending out an email reminder. Maybe you set up another email reminder maybe 2 days before. So you can set up as many reminders, whether they're notifications or emails, to remind people, remind yourself, and remind participants of the meeting. Down here in the body, the text of your email message, you can add text. You know, please plan on attending. You can remove text, whatever you wish. This is yours to modify. The last thing that you can do on this one screen is you can start inviting participants. You can just send email invitations, which, specify people's email addresses right over here, and you're inviting them. Once you've added all of your participants' email addresses, all you need to do is click on Save. It's going to ask you, would you like to send your emails? I'm going to say, please send. Then what it's doing is it's added this to my calendar, but it's also emailed your invitation to your participants. When they open up the email, they will have the option to click yes, I'm attending, no, or maybe. Also, they can have the option to add the invite to their calendar as well. And it will show up on their calendar just like this. So when you click on this calendar invite, as a participant, you can simply join the Zoom meeting right here. Even as a host, I know it says join Zoom meeting, but because you're the host, when you click on this link, it will start your Zoom meeting. So let me know if you have any questions about that. If you need me to go through it again.
Is
I
it the
think-
same? Oh, can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure, go right ahead.
Okay, is it the same using Outlook calendar? Okay.
Yes, it is.
Because
It's a
I've done it with Outlook calendar, but the message that got sent wasn't working for the participants.
Oh, it wasn't.
No.
Okay, what problem did they have?
Well, it just didn't come out with the whole script. I mean, I didn't change the text of the message.
It
I
didn't come
didn't
out with
change all that. It
Huh.
didn't have all that.
Okay,
So I
Now-
don't know,
are you on a paid account or a free account?
a paid account.
Okay, so on a paid account, it should have the phone numbers. Did it at least send them the link?
The link was in the subject line. So if you knew what to look for, you could, but basically you really couldn't tell by the message. But
Okay.
maybe I didn't do it right. I didn't do something right. I'll try it again.
Okay, I'm not quite sure what's happening there. I'll try it on my Outlook too, to see. Outlook invite. All right, I'll try it on my Outlook calendaring system. Anyone else have questions?
I do.
Yeah, hi Kathy.
So back to the invites. So they get invited, they get their invites through my calendar? on
No,
Google?
actually, they'll get an email. So when I click on, I'll just click on Google Calendar again. What it's doing is you're going to, what you're doing here is you're sending email addresses. You're adding email addresses, you know, for example, you're just going to type out, I'll type out my Hotmail account. And as you start adding their email addresses here, when you click on save, what's happening is an invitation, this invitation that you see right here is being sent as an email to your guests, to the participants.
So what's the difference between the email and the notification?
Sure. So the notification, these are additional either messages that will pop up on their screen to indicate that as a reminder, or if you add a notification. So they're just additional emails. It's going to have the same information, but it's just a reminder. It's like, hello, remember you have, you know, you have a Zoom meeting coming up.
Okay, so this is where you invite them then.
Yes, this is one of the ways that you can invite them if you decide to use this calendaring
I
feature.
see. So if you don't use the calendar.
You
what-
need to use the copy invitation. Right
And then
here.
is there a list of participants that you entered already?
If you use the copy meeting invitation, if you use this option here,
Mhm.
it's simply copying all this information to what's called the clipboard, that internal memory, that space.
Yeah.
And then you will need to separately go into your email application.
So like Yahoo, I have Yahoo
Yeah.
or email. Or
You
Gmail.
would go into Yahoo, you would compose a new email, add email, participants' email addresses, and then paste the contents from the clipboard into the body of your email.
Oh, so that's a lot more work.
Yeah, it is. And so you might want to use this calendar, Yahoo Calendar feature, because then what it allows you to do is kind of one-stop shopping. You can invite guests. You can, if you would like, you can send notifications, add notifications, and you can also go in and change the text of the email. And so, yeah, question.
Does the notification also contain all this information about the link and the dial-in and all that?
The email will, the notification is, that's a good question. I can't remember what my notification, it might, the notification might. I can't remember. I'm trying to think when I get notifications. That's a good question. What info? Let me verify that.
I
Those
think
notified.
I think the notifications are shorter, at least the ones I get
I think it is, yeah. I think
from
it's
other
just,
people.
yeah. I'll verify that. I honestly can't. I'm trying to remember. Yeah. Any other questions? Joan, you had a question.
Yes,
Another one.
Vicky,
Oh, hang on. Joan had a question.
Yeah,
I-
I like this idea of this scheduling. This is a great idea. But because I belong to a variety of groups, I get notifications from Google, but I do a lot of my other work on a Yahoo account. Is there some way for myself in my organization, can I actually have things on both calendars or one calendar that I can view all the time to make sure I don't schedule things?
Yeah, unfortunately, Yahoo and Google, they're two separate applications and they have two separate calendars.
Okay.
There's what you can do is you can send a notification or send an email to both your Google account and your Yahoo account, so it's on both calendars.
Yeah, I mean, I know I can do that, but
Right.
like when I get this from the other places, and
Yeah.
one's actually Outlook and in Google.
Right.
So, okay, so I keep a paper calendar. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I get it. Alma, did you have a question?
yes, say for instance, you have a recurring meeting.
Mhm.
And so would you have to do the notification for each meeting?
No, that's the beauty of it. So if you have set up a recurring meeting, and if you decide if you want to use this Google one of these calendar options, when you send out your invite, it knows it's a excuse me, a recurring meeting, and it'll send out multiple, or if you decide to put it on your calendar, it will send out add multiple invites for each month that you've set up the meeting for. So you don't have to. Zoom will do this for you. You just send the invite out and it will set up recurring emails.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
So, yeah, when I look at the invitation that I received from my family versus the one from Get Set Up has just one button that says join class, whereas the others have, the web address with a whole bunch of telephone numbers listed. What is that an option that's available on the Zoom, or do you have this special page where you paste in information and then mail it out?
Yeah, this is special programming that we use internally, and we do this purposely to make it really easy for people to join a meeting. So all they have to do is click on a button, and that's something our software developers have created for us.
Okay, so it's not available to us then?
No, it isn't.
Okay.
Unless you want to hire a software developer to do it for you.
Okay.
Yeah, great question. Any other questions that folks have about this calendaring option? I hope it clears some things up for you. Go in and start experimenting with this to see, what you can do, how it works. The last thing I wanted to show folks is if you're using the app, you don't have to use the web version to schedule and host a meeting. You can, on the app version, you can tap on this schedule icon here. It will open up the schedule a meeting. It's the same information I've been showing you using the web version. And then all you need to do is you may have to click on advanced options down here to just open up some of the additional fields that I was showing you. So I just wanted to make sure people understood that you can schedule a meeting, start one of these instant meetings using the app, the Zoom app, as well as using the web or the browser version. And so I wanted to make sure everybody understood that. Any other questions I can answer today?
Yes, Vicky.
Yeah.
Is there a camera that you can photograph someone with Zoom?
Oh, you mean like take a
Take a
video?
Just
Or
take a
take a-
picture.
Take a picture. If you're on like a laptop or a PC, you can use the screen capture, the print screen key combination. Where it depends on your keyboard, but I think for me it's like I think it's Alt print screen.
Yeah, it's
like
alternate
Alt.
print screen, yeah.
Yeah, Alt, and I think for on my key it's F10 on my keyboard, Alt print screen. So it's like you hold down your Alt key and press for me it's F10,
Okay.
and that will take a screenshot.
Or
Okay.
on the cell phone, you can just, what is palm across the screen and capture.
Yeah, and on your
Cell phone, yeah.
cell
And-
phone,
yeah.
you can, there are a couple of different ways you can, press the little button, the home button, and then press the on off. I sometimes have trouble on mobile devices doing this. So yes, Alma, there is a way. There sure is.
Okay.
Okay.
One unrelated question is,
Yeah.
Zoom has become very popular this past year, but what are the competition that I may need to sometimes get familiar with?
In addition to Zoom, there's always Google Meet,
Google Meet, okay.
which is also, you can use your free Google account. I don't know if it has quite the same features, but there's Google Meet. There's also Skype. I don't use Skype that much. There are a few others that I haven't really been using that are popping up.
Does FaceTime also have this level of multi?
No,
participant?
it doesn't. No, FaceTime really, that's why Zoom has become so popular. It's easy to use, and they've been adding lots of features. You can share your screen. Yeah, you can annotate, you can share whiteboard. Yeah, there's a lot.
You can also use Facebook Messenger. That's what my yoga teacher's been using.
Facebook Messenger, okay, to host meetings.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've never done it, and I don't know how complicated it is.
Yeah.
But she sends an invite and we accept, and we're
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
I have one question.
Yeah.
In terms of what I would like to take next, and would you suggest, I know there's a variety of topics, because I do want to learn how to maneuver through the chat room and, do some types of instruction type of things. So, to gather people together to be able to talk or that. So I know there's other workshops out there by looking.
Yes. I would say, and let me just get set up. Let me just see if I can get to my Get Set Up. I'm on my Get Set Up, the Get Set Up site.
Mhm.
My system is like, there's a big lag here. All right. I'm just going to type Zoom in the search window. And then when I press enter, these are all of the different Zoom classes that we offer. I would say, have you taken the beginner Zoom class yet, Joan, to get comfortable using the chat?
Well, that's what I was looking, because when you look at some of these things like how to be a superstar, or I've been on meetings continually, but what I want to do is be able to share my screen or put, people into rooms and that type of thing.
So for you, there's a Zoom host practice session. I would say advanced Zoom for Zoom host. I think that covers breakouts.
Okay.
Breakout rooms, and there is Zoom virtual backgrounds. There's also, hang on, using the whiteboard, or Zoom's whiteboard annotations. I would take that as well, because it talks about sharing, how you share your screen.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions I can answer for folks before we wrap it up today?
Is there, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Is there a quick explanation for share screen?
What it enables you to do is, let's just say what I've been doing today, I've been sharing my screen so that you can see what I'm doing on my actual computer. So I've gone into the Get Set Up site. I've also been able to show you what it looks like to be on Zoom and do different things. So it just enables users on a Zoom call to see what you're actually doing on your screen.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Rosemary, did you have a question?
Can I get a copy of this recording?
Yes, you can, Rosemary. If you go ahead and just send an email to help@getsetup.io, and it'll be in the after class notes as well.
Okay.
And just request a recording of today's Zoom class.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. All right, I am going to stop sharing my screen. And I want to thank everybody for your great questions. I hope this has been helpful, makes you feel a little bit more comfortable hosting, your next Zoom meeting. And just know you can come back and take this class as many times as you wish, or get the recording and walk through the recording while you're practicing hosting, starting a Zoom call and scheduling a Zoom call. So go ahead and practice. It's been great working with you. I hope everyone has a fabulous rest of your day, rest of your Friday. And don't forget to send us feedback. This is how we find out what other classes you would like to have us put out there, what other classes you would like to see scheduled more frequently. That's how we make things better, by listening to you folks. So thank you, everyone. Have a great day, and I hope to see you in other classes. Take care.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Vicki.
you.
I've enjoyed this.
Oh, wonderful.